も絶賛でしたよね。
Welcome to Cooking for Weebs, and today we're making an easy Karage recipe and settling a debate you might have seen in the Isekai Quartet. Karage is a Japanese style of fried chicken which you might have seen in many anime, and it is arguably the best way to make fried chicken. So for this recipe, you're going to need boneless chicken thighs, some garlic, sake, soy sauce, dashi powder, or this is anchovy powder, potato starch, and flour. First thing we're gonna do is to cut our chicken thighs into pretty large sizes. So let's say a piece like this, we would cut it into thirds, and you'd have, I would say, a 50-gram piece each. And that would make a nice, good piece of karage. Something like that is good enough. Now that we have our chicken cut up, we're gonna work on our marinade. So in our marinade, we want to finely dice 2 cloves of garlic. So I have about 2 pounds of chicken thighs here. That's quite a bit. You really don't need that much for your recipe, but if you do, make sure you use enough garlic. So here I'm doing 2 cloves. If you have garlic powder, you can use that in the recipe instead of fresh garlic, and it'll save you a little bit of time. So garlic in. Next, we're going to add soy sauce. Doesn't really matter how much you put because it's just a marinade, but I'm gonna put, the rest of this bottle basically, because that's all I got. And that would be about 1 tablespoon. After that, we're going to add sake. And that's going to be another tablespoon of sake. And lastly, if you have dashi powder, use that. Right now I have an anchovy powder, and if you don't have either of these, you can actually use the super secret magic ingredient, MSG. Okay, so this is like really high in MSG, you'd be surprised, but it really adds that nice umami kick. I would say about half a teaspoon is a good amount. It'll add a nice fishy flavor. Just mix it all up, and your chicken will be sitting in the marinade for the next half hour. You don't have to marinate it for too long or else it might get a little too salty. So half hour should be the perfect time that you let this sit to absorb all the delicious flavors. And we'll see you in half an hour. All right, so the chicken has been marinating for half an hour, and now it's time to bread them. We have a pan of all-purpose flour and then a little mound of potato starch in another pan. And what the potato starch does is it makes the side a little extra crispy. The outside a little extra crispy, and that's what you want. So you want to cover your chicken in flour, kind of just shake off the excess, and then take that to the potato starch and just kind of give it a do-over. And then when that's done, shake off the excess and put it away. And you gotta repeat that with all your pieces of chicken. This might take a while. You learn to do this really fast in a restaurant, but not in a restaurant, so we can take our time and bread all our chicken. So there's no wet breading in karage because in that marinade, it's already going to be quite moist and wet, and we really don't need to add more moisture because it might make the breading too heavy, or you won't get that crispy texture that you wanted. Come to the fry zone, aka my balcony, and we're gonna do all our frying. We're going to heat up a pot full of any frying oil. Right now I'm using canola oil, and we're going to heat it up to 325 degrees. And we want to have enough oil so the chicken will not completely stick to the bottom of the pan. I've got a handy thermometer here which will tell you how hot your oil is, but you can also use just a chopstick, and if it bubbles then that means the oil is ready. Alright, so our oil is coming up to temp now. It's over 300 degrees. And the handy trick that I was talking about is if you put a chopstick in the oil, these very tiny bubbles should form around your chopstick. If that happens, we're good to go. Dust off the excess flour on your chicken and then just lay it down away from you. Okay, don't splash yourself. And you don't want to overcrowd the pan. I would say you put 3 to 5 pieces, and that should be sufficient for each run. You want to move it around so to keep it from sticking to the bottom of your pan. So there's a little bit of goldenness, and let's get that out and make your next batch. Just put that on a nice tray that has circulation and oil draining. After your first fry, your chicken should look like this, so it's nice light yellow but not brown yet. We are using a double fry technique which gives the karage its nice crispy texture. So our first fry is at a lower temperature of about 325 degrees to that light brown color, and now we're going to fry it again at the higher temperature to get it to a nice golden brown color. Okay, so the chicken is done, and how you can tell is that you can see it's nice, beautiful golden brown color, not too dark, and now you can fish it out, put it on a rack, and if it's still a little undercooked, it will cook with the residual heat, but at this point they should be fully cooked. So I'm back in the kitchen with my giant tray of karage, and it's time to dig in. So the anime Isekai Quartet takes characters from various Isekai genre anime and puts them in a school. In Isekai Quartet, there's a whole episode which they discuss what they should put on karage. In the subs, it's translated into chicken wings, but in Japanese, they say karage. The characters are split into 3 camps: salt and pepper, mayo, and ketchup. Now I've got ketchup, salt and pepper, and mayo, and we're going to put them head to head. First, let's start with the ketchup. A timeless condiment, one of my favorites. So ketchup, really good, obviously, but think to yourself, what do you put ketchup on when it comes to fried chicken? Chicken nuggets, KFC, whatever, but not karage. Next up, we got salt and pepper. Salt and pepper, I don't know if you really need this because karage is already salty, right? Pepper, on the other hand, I can see why you want to put that on your karage. So salt and pepper is really good. The extra saltiness is amazing. Pepper, classic. But you know what? You would be eating salt and pepper flavored chicken when it comes to Taiwanese popcorn chicken, right? We're still eating karage here. Let's see the mayonnaise. Mayonnaise. Perfection. You might think that I'm biased, but I am Team Subaru all the way. Okay, I use mayonnaise in all my past recipes because I love mayo, but when it comes down to the core of this cuisine, we are eating Japanese karage and it's served with mayo. Okay, so there you have it. Now you learned how to make karage and why you should be eating it with mayo and nothing else. Okay, we settled the debate. Thanks for watching, and remember to comment, like, subscribe. Bye.
Got Sauce.